All right, let's just play out for you the preparations for Nawaz Sharif when he arrives very, very shortly in the national capital. He'll be staying at the Grand Presidential Suite at the Taj Mahal Palace. The Grand Presidential Suite, in case you're interested, has its own gymnasium, spa, library and kitchen. An entire floor has already been locked down. The Pakistan Prime Minister is likely to have lunch this afternoon at the hotel itself. And as you can imagine, with a person like Nawaz Sharif staying at the Taj Mahal Hotel in central Delhi, the entire hotel, all of its departments and services are on full operational alert, as it were, to service this VVIP guest. Maha Siddiqui is live with us from the national capital. Maha, all eyes on the body language, the interplay and what really happens in that meeting between Nawaz Sharif and Narendra Modi. They have sought to play it down as, you know, an invitation to all SAARC leaders and not specifically just to Pakistan. But Pakistan has never been just another SAARC country, has it, Maha?
Well, absolutely. It is a very important neighbor of India, also a neighbor with whom India has a territorial dispute, a neighbor that has been troublesome for India in many ways. So clearly there are lots of issues that will come up between India and Pakistan. Now, the leaders choose for themselves what they would want to discuss. From the delegation that Nawaz Sharif is getting with him, Shiv, we get this sense that he has a lot on his agenda. Even though Narendra Modi, that will be his first day in office when he formally meets Nawaz Sharif for a 25 to 30-minute meeting with about 4 people from each side as well, apart from the leaders. However, as far as Nawaz Sharif goes, since he's bringing along his national security advisor, Sartaj Aziz, and other people from the ministry.
Maha, just stay with me. Najma Heptullah of the BJP, one of the senior persons who has been spoken to by Narendra Modi and could be a minister, is just speaking. Let's just listen in to her. Okay, we've just cut to that bite when it was finished. We'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, I want to bring in Rizaul Laskar, National Bureau Chief of our sister newspaper Mail Today, who's also been the Press Trust of India's correspondent in Islamabad for a few years. Rizaul, welcome. Thanks for joining us on our coverage this morning. Opening comments from you, Rizaul, on what you're expecting to see happen from the Nawaz Sharif visit.
Well, you know, you have to keep in mind the fact that Nawaz Sharif's brother, Shehbaz Sharif, met the Pakistan Army Chief on Friday, you know, almost as if to get clearance for this visit. So it's very clear that they would have made a certain amount of promises. You know, I mean, the Pakistan Army Chief was the person who a few days ago referred to Kashmir as the jugular vein.
Yes.
So obviously they're going to, you know, try and bring up all the major issues. They've given that indication. Several PMLN leaders in Islamabad have been saying that they want this to be more than a photo opportunity. But, you know, I mean, this is just the first time these two leaders are going to meet. This is the first time Nawaz Sharif is coming to India as a Prime Minister. And it's going to be a very, very brief meeting. I don't think, you know, we are going to have anything very substantial, but it's a great opportunity for the two leaders to meet, to just get to know each other, and maybe, you know, sort of frame some sort of a roadmap for the coming months.
Could there be some deliverables, Rizaul, you think? I mean, could there be some kind of a statement, anything of that sort, anything concrete at all?
Well, it's all up in the air. I mean, these are two very important leaders. We may have some sort of a statement, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I mean, we have very, very strong issues that are still lingering. We haven't had much movement on the prosecution of those guys who were involved in 2611. Pakistan hasn't still given us what they call non-discriminatory market access or MFN status. So these are issues that, you know, first need to get out of the way. And on Pakistan's side, they keep talking about Kashmir. So, I mean, I don't think there's going to be a very big deliverable.
Okay, no big deliverables. I want to get Gaurav Sawant, editor of Strategic Affairs, as well. He's joining me from right outside the VVIP Palam technical area where Nawaz Sharif's aircraft will land in just about 30 to 40 minutes from now. Gaurav, no shortage of issues on the table as far as India and Pakistan are concerned. But this particular meeting is going to be a handshake. It's going to be preliminary. There's going to be a lot of perceptions about the body language. It's really going to lay the groundwork, perhaps provide some kind of a roadmap on this very important relationship with a new leader in harness in the country, Gaurav.
Well, Pakistan would want more than just a photo op. India is very clear, at least as of now, that Pakistan first has to deliver on terror. There's one aspect, there are a lot of misgivings in Pakistan about the new leadership in India, and Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi is expected to tell his Pakistani counterpart that it was a statesman-like approach that the Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif adopted when he accepted Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi's invitation and came to India. India hopes to reciprocate in kind. The right environment needs to be created. The doubts in the minds of several Pakistanis that here's a right-wing government, it's a hostile government, it's a hostile Prime Minister, that's a doubt that Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi will seek to dispel. He'll tell his Pakistani counterparts that we come with a clear heart, we bear no ill will or prejudice against the people of Pakistan. While that is very clear, India will not be soft on Pakistan-sponsored terror. That will be equally clear. Sky's the limit as far as economic cooperation between the two countries are concerned. Pakistan is a power-deficient country. Pakistan, especially Lahore, desperately needs power for the coming summer. 4 rounds of technical talks had already taken place in former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's times. But that can move forward only if that climate of terror stops and there is action, demonstrable action against the 26/11 perpetrators and the jihad factories are shut down.
Let's get a view from across the border as well. Gaurav, stay with me. Gentlemen, stay with me. Waj S. Khan, our correspondent, joins us live from Islamabad. Waj, what are the expectations from Pakistan from this particular meeting between Narendra Modi and Nawaz Sharif? There is a sense that Pakistan is expecting this to be more than a photo opportunity. What is your sense on the ground?
So Narendra Modi is one of those few Indian politicians who Pakistanis at large have been obsessed with for well over a decade. There's not a lot of chief ministers who Pakistanis follow, besides perhaps the young Umar Abdullah, that too because he's a Kashmiri. But Narendra Modi has stuck out and his career has been closely followed for years now, primarily because of what happened in 2002 in Gujarat.
Wajah, just stay with me for a moment. I want to bring...
He sees something in Pakistan. The pro-India lobby thinks that he's great news when it comes to softening the border, opening up trade, etc., etc. The hawks, the establishment, of course, are very, very wary. Hindutva is bad news as far as Pakistan is concerned. I think we all know that already. However, between these two extremes of opinion, the Foreign Office, for example, usually very hawkish, has been lobbying for an opening up, for a detente of sorts, because of late, nothing was really happening. And Narendra Modi's new impetus, so to say, in the Indian foreign policy mechanism has been taken advantage of by the Pakistani Foreign Office, which highly recommended that the Pakistani Prime Minister attend this meeting.
Rizal, what do you think about, the Pakistan army? Like you said, Nawaz Sharif's brother had, met with the leadership of the Pakistan army almost as a sort of, ritual to seek permission to allow this entire visit to actually happen. How is the Pakistan army viewing this particular visit, in your opinion?
Well, you have to keep in mind two things. One, when it comes to Pakistan's foreign policy related to two countries, India and the US, nothing moves without the GHQ's approval. Two, you had Shehbaz Sharif going and meeting Rahil Sharif, who, as I said, just recently described Kashmir as the jugular vein. So it's obvious, they want to come back to, the old stated position. There was a bit of a softening of the position under Musharraf towards the end of his regime. Under the PPP government, it was definitely much, much better. But again, Nawaz Sharif, he's a bit of right of center. But again, at the same time, he has his problems with the army. Right now he's engaged in a bit of a standoff over the Geo Jung group. Mainly over the allegations that the ISI was involved in an attempt on the life of Hamid Mir. So these are he has to tread a very, very delicate line. He can't go too far. The only two Indian journalists who were in Pakistan were recently thrown out, And there is, a widespread perception that maybe the military or the ISI had a role in that decision. So everything that Nawaz Sharif does, he has to balance it out with the army's interests.
So he's going to have to balance it out very, very carefully. Like you said, he's going to have to tread extremely carefully, not just what he says, but also the way he carries himself once he's here in the capital. It's going to happen just a short while from now when he lands in the national capital. Wajad, if I could, come back to you. The BJP's traditional position on Pakistan has been that terror and talks cannot coexist. Do you think this meeting will, somehow, be a deviation or a diversion or break that perception?
I don't know what perception will break immediately, but what I do know is that on the two ends of the spectrum lie the two T's, trade and terror. Now, it's essentially a zero-sum game, according to some in India, definitely according to the Indian establishment, the Indian Foreign Office, perhaps even some right-wingers in the BJP. But is it really? Is it the same in Pakistan? Once again, I don't know what Prime Minister-elect Modi is doing here. In a way, he's really, really surprised everyone.
Yeah.
In a way, he's put the Pakistani Prime Minister in a corner. The Pakistani Prime Minister has essentially answered right back. But keep in mind, is this a game of keeping your friends close and keeping your enemies closer, like that famous line from that Godfather movie says? Or is it something else? Once again, is it trade versus terror, or is it trade slowly which accumulates and then atrophies the terror mechanism? We can keep an ideal perspective here, or we can work towards it. That's what the BJP and the Nawaz combine, the new Modi-Nawaz combine, will really have to figure out. And that's a question only Indians can answer for themselves.
Well, there's no doubt about one thing. He's surprised many with many of the decisions that he's taken recently, and there promise to be many more decisions that will spring a surprise in those who've spent the last many weeks speculating, not just on decisions, but also the people who will be part of Team Modi. That is the big story that we're going to come back to, as all the South leaders arrive in the national capital, including Nawaz Sharif, in just a short while from now. We're going to get you Team Modi first and exclusive here on Headlines Today as soon as that list is official.